thusly.
Taking the SATs.
We shall overcome.
We go behind prison walls for a look inside the mind of the man who killed Martin Luther King Jr.
I don't really believe I'm that good a shot to shoot someone like that in one shot.
James Earl Ray, the first interview.
You cannot take much more of this.
And the Star Trek cast cannot take any more of this. Their new movies, The Last.
This is the last film.
The Final Frontier.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maureen O'Boyle. Welcome to A Current Affair for this Monday, November 25th. As he walked down the aisle with his new wife, John Kennedy looked like the happiest man in America. But according to an FBI file, the president-to-be may have been keeping a secret from his bride and from the world. David Lee Miller tells us about the explosive report that Jackie might not have been JFK's first lady.
He was the country's most eligible bachelor. She was young and beautiful. It was a storybook romance for Jackie Bouvier and Senator John Kennedy. The newsreels rolled when 2 years after they first met, Camelot's future king asked her to be his bride.
In September 1953, they were married at St. Mary's Church in Newport, Rhode Island. 600 guests attended the wedding, which was consecrated by Archbishop Cushing of Boston and blessed by the Pope.
But in 1960, it would take more than a papal blessing to stop FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover from becoming obsessed with unconfirmed reports that the then newly elected president had a secret first marriage.
Well, this would have been a scandalous story because Kennedy was the first Catholic president. So if this had been disclosed, it would have raised questions about his character as well as the influence of the Vatican because of the intercession allegedly of Archbishop Cushing.
Ethan Thea Harris is an historian and author who, after 10 years of investigation, has written a new book on the secret files of J. Edgar Hoover. Although significant portions of the documents he obtained through a Freedom of Information request have been blacked out, the files reveal Hoover was looking into allegations that JFK had been married to this woman named Dury Malcolm.
My name is David Lee Miller, and I'm doing a story about some FBI documents that show about their investigation into your alleged marriage to John F. Kennedy.
You get off my property before I call the police.
Okay, ma'am.
Hurry up.
We're leaving. Out of respect for her privacy, we have decided not to reveal what she now looks like or use her present name. But she lives only a short walk from the Kennedy compound in Palm Beach, Florida, and is described in J. Edgar Hoover's private files as Dury Malcolm, the president's alleged first wife.
Why in the world did J. Edgar Hoover begin to investigate whether or not JFK had a secret past marriage?
Well, a New York agent first learns of it as a rumor that John F. Kennedy had been married, and his source was not disclosed, said that it was recorded in this genealogy of this prominent family, Eastern family, the Blavel family. And so he goes to the New York Public Library, not identifying himself as an FBI agent, obtains a photocopy of that genealogies page, and he reports it to his superior that it stipulates that Dury Malcolm had been married, their third marriage was to John Kennedy, and that they had no children.
This is the copy of the Blavel family genealogy here at the New York City Public Library. The book, published in 1957 by the Association of Blavel Descendants and compiled by one Louis L. Blavel, states on page 884, under the name Dury Malcolm, and I quote, "We have no birth date. She was born Kerr, but took the name of her stepfather. After telling of 2 marriages, quoting again, she married third John F. Kennedy, son of Joseph P. Kennedy, one-time ambassador to England." Was it a fraud, a terrible mistake, or the truth? Hoover, apparently unsure, passed the information along to the president's brother, Attorney General Robert Kennedy.
Hoover rather innocently briefs the Attorney General about this matter and implies, by the way, we picked this up, this is a story that is being circulated within the press, isn't it horrible, the kind of smear. But he didn't convey to Attorney General Robert Kennedy the fact that the Bureau was actively pursuing the story and was trying to establish its validity.
According to Hoover's files, the author of the genealogy study died soon after it was published. But still, half a dozen FBI reports from all around the country repeated the same story about an alleged marriage between President Kennedy and Dury Malcolm. The most detailed information, however, came from this, an anonymous letter mailed to Hoover's home.
It goes beyond the genealogy's reference to a marriage. It says that in 1948, 9 years later, Kennedy sought a divorce and obtained a divorce in Reno, but that the divorce was invalidated. And then again in '53 obtains a formal divorce which was sealed from New Jersey Governor Minor. The report also states that Archbishop Cushing interceded and obtained in 1953 an annulment of the marriage.
The anonymous letter Hoover received reportedly came from a New Jersey attorney named Harry Randall. Today, Randall's son says this man, Howard Dury, who worked as an investigator for his father's firm, also researched the genealogical study, including Kennedy's alleged first marriage.
He's the only person I knew that never made a mistake. I considered Howard Dury a man of the finest character, and would certainly do nothing that I could think of that would in any way be dishonest or misleading.
But according to author Theo Harris, while Dury Malcolm once dated John Kennedy and his brother Joe, no marriage ever took place. Hoover, it seems, did his best to intimidate the new president and failed. For whatever the reason, Theo Harris says the Blavel family genealogy is wrong and only asks visitors to the New York City Public Library not to believe everything they read.
I think it was a mistake. I don't think there was a marriage. I think that because it was reported in this genealogy doesn't mean that that genealogy was accurate.
Another example of Hoover's obsession with the Kennedys. Now, still ahead on A Current Affair, a tip on how to strip.
Ropes all the way to the arch of the foot.
The ABCs of bump and grind next. And later.
Incoming.
We say goodbye on the film.
Captain Kirk calls it quits.
Inside Edition investigates exploding tires, innocent victims whose lives were ruined, and an industry that has been slow to fix the problem. Don't miss the next Inside Edition.
Today at 5:30. What makes for a safe suburb?
We've got a pretty good little police force, and there's pretty good neighbors.
Paul Moriarty takes you on a tour of the safest suburbs in the Delaware Valley and tells you how you can make your suburb safer too. Safest Suburbs, tonight at 11 on the News Tonight.
Give me one good reason why I should buy a Buick Regal over the other car I've looked at.
Well, a larger standard engine, 4-wheel disc brakes, more rear headroom, over 3 inches more rear hip room and leg room.
Really?
Better mileage. A Regal costs less, thousands less.
Well, that's a lot of reasons.
Yeah, but the best reason is how you feel when you drive it.
The race to good health is on, and just about everybody's showing up at the starting line. Now there's a special reward at the finish. Turkey Hill frozen yogurts. In non-fat, cholesterol-free, or original 96% fat-free flavors, the great taste of Turkey Hill frozen yogurts will win you over. Go ahead, taste it. Turkey Hill.
Hello. I see you got your film there. Have you heard about the great choice? Here at CVS, you get either a double set of jumbo prints or a single set of jumbo prints and a new roll of film for one low price. So, which are you going to take, the double prints or the film?
Well, I'm taking the film.
Really? No. Well, me too.
He never takes the
No,
film.
I'm awfully sorry about this.
Last time everything was on sale at Silo, there seemed to be some confusion. Now we've reduced the price of everything again, so we'd like to make clear what we mean by everything. Every mini stereo, CD player, and audio system's on sale. Not this. Every washer, dryer, and refrigerator's on sale. Not this. Every TV, VCR, and camcorder's on sale. Not this. In short, everything that can be for sale is on sale at Silo. Perhaps we'd better go over the list one more time.
Remember the frantic last-minute studying for a final exam? Well, we sat in on a class where the pupils are much more relaxed. As Robin Dorian reports, they're student strippers, and they're taking their SATs.
The moves seem simple, dramatically dropping a glove, provocatively peeling away panties, grabbing a garter and seductively stripping to nearly nothing. But these are the pros, and while they make it appear easy, there's a lot more to shimming and grinding than you think.
In Louisiana, especially here on Bourbon Street, stripping has been a part of local business, not to mention local politics, for centuries. So what is it that men find so enticing about the art of disrobing? Well, according to one New Orleans stripper named Gio, the best way for women to find out is to do it. And for those so inclined, Gio will gladly be your mentor.
Every woman has the capacity to express her utmost feminine sensuality in the privacy of her boudoir.
Professional stripper Gio is like the Jane Fonda of the burlesque set, but it's not weight they're taking off in class, it's clothes. Gio travels the country teaching everyday women the how-tos of tempting and teasing.
The 4 basic arm positions that go with the bump are basic sex goddess number 1, thusly, demure sex goddess number 2, you're gonna get it, number 3. Just wait till I get home, number 4.
For a fee of $30, Gio will spend 3 hours clinically dissecting the basics of the bump, the essentials of erotica, the meat and potatoes of sensually shaking and taking it all off.
The first lapel comes back from one shoulder, I change the bump. Second lapel comes back from the other shoulder.
But listening to Professor Gio, it's hard to believe the goal here is to add spice to your love life. Her text of tease sounds more like it was taken from the pages of an instructional manual than the parlors of Bourbon Street.
I'm going to slip the arm from the garment in a broad sweeping motion. I'm then going to extend the opposite arm. I'm going to reach across the body and pull the sleeve and the arm at the same time. I'm going to dangle, and then I'm going to drop it.
Do you really think it's necessary to have to take a class to learn how to strip?
I think that everyone can benefit from doing any kind of thing when they're getting tips from a professional, and I'm a professional striptease artist.
Push the stocking down the leg and bring the leg by the toe, dragging the toe into the center of the body. Push it until it goes into the arch of the foot.
On a rainy Tuesday night in Alexandria, Louisiana, a dozen local housewives and businesswomen have gathered for their private step-by-step remove-by-numbers class.
Stroked all the way to the arch of the foot.
Me and my husband are married 9 years. We just had our 3rd child 3 months ago, and he just thought it would be fun. He suggested it.
I'm pretending that he's there, and I'm trying to give him the best thing that I can give him.
Just regular sex is fine, but having the same old sex every day gets boring, and so I think you have to add a little oomph to it.
I always try to teach my classes from the point of view of having panache and finesse and class, but the truth is, men like sleaze.
And at this point, you can reveal the breasts when you feel like it.
So if your marriage has become a grind or the boudoir has become boring, grab a garter and bustier and follow Gio's easy elements of how to add sizzle and spice and nothing nice to your humdrum relationship.
For those too shy to take Gio's class, she's put out a video for homeschooling. Now, still ahead, the man who had a dream and the man who ended it.
I have a dream.
I can't prove I didn't, and they can't prove I did.
James Earl Ray's first ever interview is up next. Later this week, there's trouble brewing over these beer ads. Now the beauties are fighting back exclusively on A Current Affair.
A new Ford Escort LX for $99.99. Which Escort LX? It's the price of the 3-door, the new 4-door sedan, the 5-door, and even the wagon. That's right, it's your choice. 4 Escorts, one price. And all equipped with air conditioning, AM/FM stereo radio, power steering, rear defroster, power mirrors, and more. That's right, one price, $99.99 on the Escort LX at your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
The good eggs at your International House of Pancakes restaurant have really whipped up something special. Unique 3-egg omelets loaded with a wide variety of fresh ingredients. Big and fluffy omelets served with 3 of our world-famous buttermilk pancakes. The International House of Pancakes 3-egg omelets. We don't cut corners on them, but right now you can. Any omelet for just $3.99, served Monday through Friday, all day long, only $3.99.
A kiss? No, I'm sorry. I don't think so.
Oh, no, please, no, baby, no.
Oh, not a good idea. Not now.
No, bad time.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients that kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Your kiss is ready. Pucker up.
Right on the kisser.
Come on. Kiss morning breath goodbye with Scope.
Give me that kiss.
This old floor, this old floor, this old floor looks dim and dingy. This old floor looks dull, it's true. But with Top Job, with ammonia, this old floor could look like new.
Older floors have cracks and crevices that trap dirt. Top Job has ammonia. Top Job penetrates deep, dissolves the trapped-in dirt that makes older floors look dull.
When I give this floor to Top Job, this old floor could look like new.
The top 6 things the competition says about the Nissan Sentra XE. Our car rides almost as smooth as that Sentra XE, doesn't it? Value option package? What do you think this is, a Sentra? Sure, we're more expensive than Nissan. Who's gonna pay for this tent? Nissan dealer incentives? Come on, I'm giving you the shirt off my back. Road and track? What do they know? Listen, pal, I sell status. You want value and affordability? Buy a Sentra XE. We challenge you to find a better car or a better deal.
It could be a self-pitying work of fiction. It could be a piece of American history. James Earl Ray has written a book giving his side of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. But before he ever put pen to paper, we spoke to the man who shattered the dreams of a generation. Steve Dunleavy brings us Ray, the first interview.
I have a dream.
His handiwork of horror, his ultimate act of evil, slashes like a razor at the conscience of those who care. But James Earl Ray wants the world to believe there was more than just his evil that abounded on the day the world lost from its bosom a hero.
We're almost 99% convinced that there was some renegade faction in the FBI that pulled it off. And I think they probably used an individual from a foreign intelligence agency to actually commit the murder.
And those words are mirrored by the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who theorizes in a foreword to a book due out today, written by James Earl Ray, that Ray did not act alone.
Some of us have never been at all relieved of any theory that distanced the FBI and the government from involvement at some level in Dr. King's assassination.
I'm almost certain that based on 20 years of investigation and reading documents.
Ray, who pled guilty in 1969 to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, now recants his guilt in this, his last and exclusive interview. The state of Tennessee contends he was the lone gunman.
That's the state's contention. I can't prove I didn't, and they can't prove I did. No, I didn't fire a shot.
Before this interview, I first met this weasel of a man in 1976 at the Brushy Mountain Prison in Tennessee. At the time, I was absolutely astounded at his lack of compassion for Dr. King, his family, and his movement. Well, things haven't changed much.
I'm just not interested in it because I've got enough problems of my own. I'm in railroading in the penitentiary. Well, I think that's tragic and for the families and everything. Other than that, I don't have any particular feelings.
Before the assassination, Ray had escaped from a Missouri prison where he was serving time for a holdup. He traveled to Montreal, where he says he met a mystery man named Raoul.
I was trying to get a passport to get out of the country. And this individual I met in this bar there in Montreal, this Raoul, he promised me a passport.
Ray says it was Raoul who checked him into a Memphis boarding house opposite the Lorraine Motel where Dr. King was killed.
I don't really believe I'm that good a shot to shoot someone like that.
And I'm telling you now, as I recall this man just very clearly rise out of these bushes. He was in sort of a crouched, stooping position.
They were providing the logistics to the person who did the actual murder, the foreign mercenary.
The conclusion is that Ray did not act alone. So are the other people who were involved, are they alive? And if so, where?
The night before his assassination, Dr. Martin Luther King made an unwitting but eerie prediction.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you.
James Earl Ray, acting either alone or as part of an evil empire, made sure that Dr. King's words were tragically prophetic.
Jesse Jackson says that giving Ray a proper trial is one way of resolving the unanswered questions about Dr. King's death. Now, when we come back, confessions of the crew from the Starship Enterprise.
Let's get this over with. Departure stations.
Scotty.
Hi, sir. Did you find the engine room?
Right where I left it, sir.
It was horrible. Our surf commercial. Kevin comes home from college with disgusting laundry. P.U. Look out. There goes the neighborhood. Hey, boy. Newton's out. So's Kevin.
Boss. That's okay on dirt, but only new system surf gets out tough odors, too.
Before surf.
Yuck. And after.
Yes. For really bad dirt and odors, use new system surf.
This woman's in bed with a terrible cold, keeping her from all she has to do. None of us want to be stuck with a bed cold. Stubborn congestion, constantly runny noses, rising fevers, aching bodies. But we don't have to give in to a bed cold. There's Benadryl Plus Cold. Benadryl is a name that stands for strength. Strength you can count on to help get you out of bed. Day or night, there's Benadryl Plus Cold. The Benadryl's strong enough for the bed cold.
Think about some of your toughest stains. Your most difficult. Your most painful. For these, you might think of trying a pre-treater. Think again of Era Plus, detergent with stain removers built in. Because if you compare Era Plus and this best-selling pre-treater head-to-head, you're in for a powerful revelation. So when you think of stains, think of this. It's Era Plus or else.
Who wants to clean twice? Spray cleaner first for this greasy mess, then go back after the streaks with glass cleaner.
Don't clean it twice. Cinch it once. New Cinch from Spick and Span. New Cinch is the first cleaner that handles both grease and streaks. Glass cleaner can't always get the grease, and spray cleaners can leave streaks. Either way, you'd have to clean twice. But New Cinch gets the grease and the streaks, even on glass. Don't clean it twice. Cinch it once.
This is William Shatner. Guide dogs give blind people the freedom to go wherever they want, and the law permits them everywhere that's open to the public. To learn more, call the Guide Dog Foundation for the Blind. Toll free 1-800-548-4337.
Captain's Log star date December 1991, a sad month for Star Trek fans. That's when movie moguls say the Enterprise will make its last voyage. Gene Wolfe beamed aboard for that journey to the final frontier.
Control, this is Enterprise. Requesting permission to depart.
This is Control Enterprise. Permission to depart granted.
After years of interplanetary adventuring, the Enterprise will take its final film voyage in Star Trek VI. Legions of Trekkies are poised to get their last big-screen dose of warp engines, phasers, and Klingons. So, beam me up, Scotty.
It's hard to believe, but in the 23rd century, the good guys in the Federation are ready to make peace with those ugly bad guys, the Klingons.
You, Captain Kirk, are to be our first olive branch.
Me? Does it change the way you perform that you get up in the morning and you come to the set and it's not, I'm going to play this guy, I'm going to save civilization?
No. No, I come to the studio and wonder where the bagels are.
We would be delighted to accept your gracious invitation.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Well, I hope you're happy.
When we sat down at the table to shoot this scene, I thought to myself, this is really different. Just the look of it. All of these Federation people, all of the Enterprise people on one side of a very long table, sitting at dinner with a bunch of Klingons on the other side of the table, and trying to carry on congenial conversation.
The Undiscovered Country.
Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1.
You have not experienced Shakespeare until you have read him in the original Klingon.
But shortly after dessert, peaceful coexistence ends.
Captain, they're coming about.
Incoming.
Cry havoc! And let's slip the dogs of war.
Shields collapsing. She cannot take much more of this.
I must have heard "Beam Me Up, Scotty" at 70 miles an hour thrown across the freeway 4 lanes. You know, hey, Scotty! You know.
Oh, my God.
Captain Kirk ends up in a Klingon prison camp. While in Star Trek VI, Spock gets romantic. It's nothing serious, only mind melding.
If you could take something out of this movie into real life, I think mind melds might be a kind of a handy tool from time to time.
It's a great advert for safe sex. I mean, it's all in the mind, which I think is probably the sexiest thing about anybody, is their mind and their imagination.
This is going to really be the last Star Trek film? How do you feel about that?
I don't feel anything about it because I don't think it will be.
This is the last film. Goodbye. We say goodbye on the film.
Stick around until late January when the box office is in. Then you'll be hearing about the ultimate final Star Trek, Star Trek VII.
No peace in our time.
For A Current Affair, I'm Jean Wolfe. Live long and prosper.
Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, opens nationwide December 6th. Now, here's what's coming up on A Current Affair. It was a brutal divorce battle that ended with a terrifying prediction.
And she said, well, I'm as good as dead.
Days later, she was murdered, prime suspect. That story and more Tuesday on A Current Affair, and that's all for tonight. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good night.
There are lots of ways to pick a dentist. Ask a friend, look in the phone book, but what does that really tell you about them? At 1-800-DENTIST, we refer from a select group of dentists, and we have a full profile on each of them. Their education, how many years in practice, what special training they have. And with our dentists, you have the security of knowing that we refer thousands of patients to them every month. So if you need a dentist and you want to make an educated choice, call 1-800-DENTIST today.
Where do you find all this? If you said the Bahamas, you're not only right, you're close.
Contact your travel agent or U.S. Air for a FunJet Bahamas vacation.
Oh, Mandy to the rescue, for the look that's you. What you gonna do? Mandy to the rescue.
Now kids eat free at Bob's Big Boy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you take them someplace else, who knows what you'll get hit with?
They want to do their taxes, but they need your help. Volunteer. Call 1-800-TAX-1040 and join the IRS Volunteer Assistance Program.
Sperm Bank Nightmares on the next Jane Wallace Live.